The word for you today, it's Wednesday, December the 13th. Lesson day is tackle your giant head on. Passage comes out of 1 Samuel chapter 17, verse 50. And yes, it has to do with David and Goliath. So David triumphed over the Philistine with a sling and a stone. Without a sword in his hand, he struck down the Philistine and killed him. Okay, now there are some lessons to be learned from this story of David and Goliath. First of all, as David comes against Goliath, Goliath is this huge man, David is this little boy. Teenager, but slender, not anywhere near the size of Goliath. The situation looked hopeless. When you come against a giant in your life, whatever it might be a health issue, it might be a relationship issue, it may be, I don't know what it is, but as you come across something in your life that you're struggling with, tackle this giant head on, even though it looks hopeless. For David, it looked absolutely hopeless. Both sides. Goliath is cursing David. He felt disrespected because this kid comes out to fight him. And the Israelites they didn't know what to do. The situation looked absolutely hopeless. And then David listened to Goliath, and it wasn't like, okay, I can go beat this guy. It was he heard Goliath defying his God and ridiculing his God. And that's what moved David to act, was, no, you can't say that my God is greater than you are. When you tackle these giants head on, if it's just about us, we might have a hard time. But if it's more than that, if it's more about God in you than just you, it's a whole different story. It can have a whole different outcome. And then third thing, David used what God had given him to face this giant. David wasn't bow and arrow, wasn't a spear, wasn't a shield and a knife. No, it was a slingshot. And that's what he used. And that's exactly what he needed to defeat this giant. You have giants in your life. You have exactly what is needed to defeat the giant. It might be a sense of humor. It might be a mind that processes things well. It could be the ability to listen. It could be any number of things. But God has given you, He's equipped you with something that you can use to slay the giant in your life. And then God had the victory in the battle in an unusual way. Seems like God does that a lot, doesn't He? You know, I'm coming against something and I'm going, man, there's just no way. There's just no way. And then God steps up, and out of nowhere, here's the answer. How did that happen? Where did it come from? God. God. We have the giants in our lives also. So when we come across a giant in our life, remember, when we feel like all is hopeless, remember, with God, all things are possible. When it's against us or against God, when we are on God's side, we can't help but win. Rather than trying to get God to be on our side, we need to make sure we are on God's side. Third thing, God gives us what we need to be successful. Don't try to do it your way. Look to God. God, what do you want me to do here? What have you given me to do in this situation? And then expect God to work. Don't put Him in a box. Allow God to be creative. God is a creator. Allow Him to do the unexpected. And then you can just sit back and go, wow. Yes, there'll be something you'll need to do, but you can look back and you go, wow, how did He do that? I still don't believe that. Years ago, there were engineers in the lamp division of General Electric. And as new engineers would come on, they would give these new engineers a task, an assignment. It actually was a joke. The task was frosting bulbs on the inside. And they said, it's impossible, you can't do that. It's just not gonna work. But they did it as just kind of a practical joke. Well, one time there was a newcomer named Marvin Pipkin. Apparently he didn't realize it was a joke. So he began working on it. And you know what he did? He found a way to frost light bulbs on the inside, which increased their strength and their durability. Fortunately, no one told him it was impossible to do. So he just did it. He took that giant head on, and he accomplished the task. See, there are things in our lives that we say, there's just no way. There's no way. That's a giant. Talk to God. And would you allow God and you to defeat the giant that you can't? Have a good day.